Todd Black is our guest on this episode of Lip Service. Lip Service is brought to you by C2E2, Chicago, Illinois, April 24th and 26th. Click on the banner below to reserve your tickets today. C2E2, the con the fans deserve. Okay, viewers and listeners, welcome back to Lip Service. Lip Service is the show about independent comics, the people who read them, write them, all points in between. What makes us special is we don't care about the big boys. They've got their hype. We go for the up-and-comers, the soon-to-be next gen. And speaking of next gen, we have Todd Black of BlackMagicWolf Productions. Todd, welcome to Lip Service.
Yes, it's me. And I'm happy to be here.
Great. So the first question is, where did you get the name for your studio?
Okay, that's a funny story.
We like funny stories.
Thank you. So two guys walk into a bar. No, I'm just joking. No, it really is a very simple one, but it has an interesting twist in that my nickname is Black Magic, and I got it from my best friend, Ro, during a card game of all things, and I use that everywhere. And
okay.
It was originally Black Magic Productions because that was me, and then so I posting about this like something completely unrelated. I think it was like a video game I wanted to do, and I said, Black Magic Productions presents Guardians, a video game called Guardians, not the comic. Okay. And a guy goes, You're not them, are you? And they post this link to his Las Vegas service. Okay. And there's this company. It's like an audio company called Black Magic Productions, who I actually later on used some of their tech at school of all things. And I'm like, okay, that name's already taken. Kind of a bummer. Mm-hmm. So then I thought, okay, maybe we should just personalize it even more. And my favorite animal is a wolf, and so it just became Black Magic Wolf. And then this logo guy took the name and made this really epic logo that's on our comics and everything. And it was just like, that's it. Black Magic Wolf it is. So.
Cool. Yeah. See, and there lies the whole deal. So now it's funny you should mention that, because my wife's favorite animal is a wolf, is our wolves too. So now that you got the name, what actually got you thrown into this crazy world of that we call graphic adventures, aka comics?
Well, as I tell everyone, I honestly grew up on comic book characters.
Okay.
By that I mean like the television shows. Like I watched Batman the Animated Series, Superman Animated Series, Spider-Man Animated Series, X-Men Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond. I grew up on all of it, but I never read a comic to save my soul because A, I'd never had the money to spend on it. B, I didn't have a comic book store near me.
Right.
And C, honestly, I never thought about it. I mean, when you're a kid, I mean, unless you are kind of tossed into us by your parents, you're not going to read a comic book. So I was in college, and I obviously had a car, and I was reading an article on a website about an upcoming Marvel event called Dark Reign, and I was like, I really like the sound of the event. I'm just like, maybe I should just, go to my phone book, because we still have those. We still have phone books, ladies and gentlemen. And let's see, do I have a comic book store near me? And it said G-Mart, and it was like 2 blocks, kind of, sort of, from the college I went to.
Right.
And so I was just like, let's go try it. So I drove down to the comic store, and I started buying comics, and I loved it. I loved everything about it. Bought a bunch of Marvel, a bunch of DC, and all that, just to get myself into the universe. And then, almost somewhat naturally for me, because this is just how my mind works, I started thinking, what if I made my own comic book? What would it be about? Well, I already had the ideas for the Guardians from a story I had written in high school. It was supposed to be like a 4-part movie series. Okay. Kids these days. And I was like, well, what if I just made that a comic book series? So I started, doing ideas, thinking of my characters and everything. And it just really got to the point to where I was like, I just needed that one big push. So I was in Chicago for college, for this back half of my college career, and I went to an event called C2E2, the Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you should know that you're in Chicago.
Well, yeah, so, we've been in it a couple of times, so.
Hey, we'll talk about it later because I'm planning on going there and happy to meet you there if you're going this year. So, where was I? Oh, right, C2E. So I went there and I went to a panel that I now frequent every year called Making Comics the Marvel Way.
Okay.
And it's Breaking into Comics the Marvel Way. And they just had a nice big all-star panel, and on the panel was Matt Fraction, Iron Man and Iron Fist and all them great books. Mm-hmm. And I go, well, what do you say to a guy who has does have a superhero comic idea, but he doesn't know what to do? And Matt Fraction looks at me and goes, if you want to make a comic, write it, find an artist to make it, and make the dang comic.
Yeah, that's about it.
So, and it took me a while. I mean, it honestly took me another year of C2E2 and getting more advice from Marvel guys. And I found two artists originally, Chua Chi and Alex Garcia, and they helped me make Guardians #0.
Okay.
And it was great. And then and she had to drop out, but Alex said, I can do all of it if you need me to. And so we did, and now we're, about to release our 6th issue, which I still can't get over saying. I'm releasing the 6th issue of my comic. And, and I'm hooked, and I wanna keep doing this forever, and I will do what I can to keep going because I got a lot of stories to tell for my Guardians.
Okay, well, it seems like after 6 issues, you are. I can't consider you a noob. Okay, between for us, 15 years, umpteen comics and everything. You're not a noob. So
I think it's relative, if I may. I mean, you always hear about, I want to make a comic book, and there are always those people who never get out of the idea process.
That's
and everything.
True.
And and then they'll rejoice when they make their first comic. But I would still consider myself a new guy, just because if you say the word Guardians, you don't think of my comic. You might. I've heard numerous people saying, "Don't you know there's a thing called Guardians of the Galaxy?" And I'm like, it's a completely different thing. So I still like to think I'm new to the industry. And I think I need to have that perspective because I think I'm on top of the world. I am. I'm wearing a Nightwing shirt.
Traitor!
I got Justice League right here and Shazam over there. But it's just I'm not them yet. And so until I at least establish myself or my fan base or even just my comic beyond the Facebook groups and Twitters that I have, I'm fine with being called a noob because I still got a lot to learn.
Okay, well, already you've got the right attitude, because I know we have seen a bunch of people who come into this industry and they have the mentality they are the newest thing since sliced bread, and and the reality of it all is this: you're but one speck on a very large beach.
I can live with that.
Because while you're where you are, there like you said, there are others out there who have been there, done that, and all that good kind of stuff. So what challenges have you found during all this that you had to learn how to overcome?
Money. That was honestly the first big struggle. Was for me, coming up with the idea is never a problem. I like to call myself an imagination guy, Imagineer. I can think of a story at the drop of a hat, think of characters, think of personalities very, very easily. And writing is very, very easy to me. But I can't draw. I can barely write. That's why I'm glad God made computers, and all that. But so obviously the back half of my equation was you have a writer, you have a creator, and then you have the artist. Well, for a year essentially. From that Matt Fraction meeting to basically the year after and like a couple months after even, I was kind of stuck because I pitched my idea to like various art forums and everything, and no one was biting. They were like, how everyone kept asking, "What's your page rate?" And to be honest, at that time especially, I didn't have the money. Well, through kind of a bad circumstance, I got a job that was very physically demanding, but it was really high paying enough for a kid my age, I guess I should say.
Right.
And one day I was just so low and depressed that I looked at myself and I said, if you're not going to make Guardians now, when you have the money, when you have the ability to say I can pay you, you're never going to do it. And so that was really the big challenge starting, was the money. And even afterwards, you know, we made essentially 3 comics back to back to back. We made 0, 1, and 2 back to back to back. And then I had to stop for money purposes. And I honestly hadn't distributed this out. I was like more worried about making the comics and releasing them, because we were doing Comixology, and the submit process was like 6 months long. And then once I got accepted, it was another 3 months before 0 even hit Comixology. And that's not even including how long it took to get #1 out there.
Right.
So there was like a big stop right there. And then once we got going again, then we made #3, and it was still a money issue. And then we waited essentially, by the time #3 was released, it was another 6 months before we made #4. And now we're doing #5, thankfully, closer together. And I've got a thing going with my artist, but it's a problem, because my artist is doing me a big favor by doing this for the rate I am paying him, and I feel guilty.
Okay.
Like, I tell people, you know, I want Guardians to be successful, not just for me, but I want to pay this guy what he deserves.
Right.
I don't want to do. I know it's inevitable, but I don't want to do Guardians without my artist, Alex Garcia.
Okay.
And because he is just that dang good, and I feel he deserves more than I'm paying, but he understands I can't pay him more than what I am.
Right.
And so that has honestly been the big problem. And obviously the other half, which is what kind of, you know, par for the course, is that I'm trying to get this name out. I'm trying to get my comic out there for people to read. You know, I have it, you know, more or less, my comic is digital, so you know you can just view it on your computer, which I think is good.
Right.
You know, it's cheaper than a standard print comic, which I feel is inviting. The first issue, Guardians #0, is free to read, so you know there's that. But it's just like you said, I'm a spec.
Well,
I'm a speck on the beach, and with all these comics, you know, DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse, Hound Comics, all these Zenoscope, and all these other indie publishers, which I'm telling you, I'm not affiliated with any of them. They have the promotion, they have the ability, they have the people who can spread the word. I'm basically one of 2 guys.
Hey, join the club. Join the club. Well, I mean, but
I am in the club.
Yeah,
I am a part.
But you know, and this is, and you hit the nail on the head. So the rest of you out there, this is why we have lip service in the first place, for those people. You know, yes, okay. Some people say conflict of interest. Look, we're giving back what we put in. Okay, and we have the means to not only get our word out there, but to get other people's word out there, because because that's the one thing that there should be more going on with this community. There should be more people who have resources to make things happen, make it happen, not only for yourselves, but for your comrades, because you know what, there's maybe a couple of million comic book producers and a couple of billion trillion people floating around.
Billions.
Billions. So you can find your little slice of pie without having to take the whole damn cake.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, there's some people who want the world. Well, you know what? You can have it. You know.
Yeah. World's not yours to have.
No, exactly. So, the one thing I had to ask you is, from here, have you thought about the new trend now is crowdfunding?
It's very funny you mentioned that. Guardians has a long-standing history of trying to be funded on crowdfunding sites, and all of them ended in failure. It's the funny thing is that was how I wanted to do it originally. Like after the Matt Fraction meeting, I literally went to Kickstarter and I started up like a $500 Kickstarter saying, help make. I literally said, help make me the next Stan Lee, because that's how I pictured it. You know, I would get the money, make the comics, and then after making a bunch of them, I would become like a Stan Lee kind of figure, you know, an icon. Thankfully, that got no backing at all, because that was just horrible. But I tried like 3 more times, and then we actually had a recent run this year in April, in May, and we missed it by like $1,000, which was kind of depressing. But now we're doing a Patreon, to where, if you haven't heard Patreon, it's basically like a magazine subscription service. You know, you pay per certain amount of content. So for anyone who backs me, you only pay when I send you an issue of Guardians through the service,
right?
Which is great, because you know, I honestly ask for people to say, hey, just pledge $3 to Patreon, and you're basically paying for a comic book. And if you want to pledge more, you'll get like special contact with me and special art previews and everything. But I really love to have just a couple hundred people pledging $3, saying, hey, we're buying your comic, we'll be here for your comic. And I honestly have had some good response so far. It's not to where I need it to be, but it's enough to make me happy. It's better than when I started when I only had like $3 an issue. I'm like, okay, that's nice, but I'm not getting anywhere with this. But now I'm to a point where I can say, hey, I appreciate what you're doing. I'm now going to cash in on this because I honestly haven't touched the Patreon, like funding wise, because I have that option. I have the option of saying I won't touch this money until I reach this point. And fans are like, you really should touch it because it helps you. And we're here for you. And I'm like, okay, so now we're with the upcoming issue, Guardians number 5. We're going to cash in on that. And now every single issue afterwards, it's going to be, you're now literally helping us continue. And that's big for me.
Well, and that's the way it should be, So tell us more about it sounds like you got several titles, so let's hone in on the Guardians first, because that seems to be your baby and the first one that came through.
Guardians is the only comic under our banner. We have other stories and the like and all that, but Guardians is our title. So you just want to know more?
Yeah. I would like to, and I would think the people out there would like to know because the one thing I have discovered is this. We're dealing with, I would have to say, a very jaded audience sometimes. Because just and this is my opinion.
By all means.
My opinion. Well, not for you, but for all you out there who want to try to go. Wee. This is just my opinion that both rodents have spent the last 60 years conditioning a reading audience.
Oh, that is so true.
To even down to where how to make them do them, whatever. They have conditioned the market to where now all of a sudden nobody can see the forest for the trees. There are some out there. I know you're out there. I buy in the piece. I pay. Okay, but until there is a major shift to where Diamond says, "Houston, we have a problem." It's all fuzzy math. So for me, they've had it for and the ones up underneath them, Dark Horse and the rest of them. You're part of it too. Now granted, Dark Horse grabs new talent and pulls it through, but you're still using the same apparatus of the big two. You're right there, and essentially they're riding their coattails. So
yeah, but you're not wrong. In fact, a lot of things I plan on doing with Guardians is to kind of buck the trend of certain things, which I'll have to talk about later. But for right now, what is Guardians? Guardians is a superhero comic, which I know like a lot of people will be like, wait a minute. There's already so many superhero comics. Why are you making a superhero comic? Because it's my superhero comic, and I feel like I am doing something different because I'm taking things that you may have heard of, but developing my own little core and twist onto it. And it goes like this: Delta City, which is where this entire series will take place, more or less, is a city of great scientific achievement, as I like to say. Have you ever seen the show Eureka?
I have not.
Oh, it's a really good show. But it's basically all the best and brightest minds of the world. They come to Delta City to build with almost unimpeded, backing, pushing, because they want to make the world better. But the problem with that is that because it's such a known quantity, people want to steal their stuff. Espionage, thievery, the like, and it gets really, really bad. I mean, it gets to the point where scientists and people, just average citizens, are getting attacked, they're getting mugged. I have a very somewhat graphic, it's a very stirring shot in there about a loss that really kind of kickstarts all this, and it really gets to the point to where the city has had enough, and so they ask the maker of the universe for help. And in what's now my tagline, I say they asked for angels, they prayed for saviors, but what they received were guardians, and that's my two main characters, Element and Chaos, two brothers who were created by this deity to protect Delta City and its people. And they go, okay, well, that's not really
that's exactly what we asked for, but okay.
Yeah. It's like wait a minute, but wait a minute, I've heard this before. I know that. Okay, but the catch is that even though they have knowledge of the world, they have knowledge of their power, so they are like in literal perfect control of their powers.
Okay.
They have no people skills. They don't know. Yeah, they don't know how to interact with the people they're protecting. And so it literally gets to be to where, they'll save the day and these people will come around to thank them and praise them and ask them questions. And they're frozen in fear because they don't know what to say. I mean, they're afraid of insulting them or saying something wrong. And so they literally flee to this old stone watchtower that's within the city. It's a historical landmark called the Perch. And they'll just stand there. And they won't eat, they won't sleep, they won't rest. They'll just watch the city. Until it needs it, and then the moment it needs them, boom. They'll go do their work. But then the moment it's done, they're right back to the Perch. And so what begins to happen, especially in Guardians #1, is they begin to ask themselves a question that a lot of us ask us is there more to life than just my purpose? And one of them says, yes, we should be a part of this population. We should be with them, interacting with them, becoming them in a way. And the other was like, that's not why we were created. We are here to protect them.
Right.
And whatever that entails. And, should we interact with them? Maybe, but that's not our goal. Because the more we interact with,
that's not our mission.
It's like, that does not compute. No, that is illogical.
Yeah, there you go.
It's, the more and he has like very, very good reasons for this. It is almost a Spock-like logic, where it's like, the more we interact with them, the more we take our eyes off what is happening in our city.
Right.
And so as this story goes on, as the series goes on, and as the arcs go on, they're going to be challenged physically, mentally, emotionally by these villains who are going to make them challenge what they believe, not just in themselves, but the maker of the people of Delta City. And it's going to make them slowly evolve from these kind of eyes only watch heroes or watchmen. I don't want to use that name, but to these characters that are much more evolved. And that for me is going to be the fun part, which I think kind of differentiates me from other comics, is that I'm really delving into what is humanity. What are we as a people? What are we as a society? And like I almost start almost every arc with a question about why does humanity do this? Why does humanity do that? And as we go on, it's just going to get deeper and better, and hopefully more refined, and hopefully better written and everything. And it's just going to be a fun ride. There's going to be the action, there's going to be the drama, and there's going to be some really epic fight scenes and all that. But this really is a story about two brothers trying to become something more than just Guardians.
You are more than you what you would become. Do I hear Simba? But and now it seems like, and and speaking with you and a whole bunch of other creators, now that you are a creator, stop that. Okay. Now from what I'm now seeing is there is especially from the more so from the independents versus the corporate machines. There seems to be more deeper emotion and relation to humanity and topics versus just trying to, well, obviously for independence, not trying to spit out for the next movie or push, but now the writing, that's the other thing I have about comics by the big two. It's no longer about telling a story. It's about pushing product and hyping the next movie. But it seems like there seems to be a new generation of creators coming from the indie side that is going deeper beyond just a storyline and an arc.
You're not wrong, and in some ways you're not wrong. I mean, we can rag on DC and Marvel. They in some ways they deserve it, but some days they don't. And there's always going to be that. One of my favorite titles is Batman, and Batman had a really great arc where he lost his son, and seeing him struggle with it, that was real and it was good. And then I go over to Marvel, and after 40, 50 years of saying that Magneto's children was Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, all of a sudden snap your fingers, oh, wait a minute, they're not his children anymore. And everyone is saying that.
That's wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong. First of all, that is so wrong. I can't believe they did that. I'm like, I literally did a double take. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, did the magic not happen because Magneto worked his helmet or something like that? I'm thinking of any way that this is not
you can rationalize it.
Because everyone is saying that this, and everyone's almost convinced this is going to happen because they're going to say that in the movies in Age of Ultron, that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are Inhumans. And that so they changed the entire 4-year continuity of this for a movie, and that drives me crazy.
Thank you.
And, again, it doesn't happen all the time. I'll give you it. We have to be fair. It doesn't happen all the time, but in those moments like that, you see it. You see you see the money. As a meme is quickly circling around for Michael Bay. It's a mother freaking money, you know. And, but you know, for indies, we don't have that problem because 9.5 times out of 10, you know, our stuff is never going to be, you know, a blockbuster. Would I love Guardians to be a movie? Would I love to be an animated TV show? Absolutely.
Who would? Yeah.
I mean, that'd be a dream come true, you know, outside of just making the comic and everything. But I am allowed because I don't have, you know, not corporate overlords, but, you know, like editors,
might as well be
higher ups, you know, an interconnected universe where I have to kind of play by certain rules. I'm allowed to do things that I know that if I took Guardians to DC or Marvel, that I would bet money that I would not be allowed to do. And it's not like
you can't do that.
Deeply, it's not like deeply stirring or anything. It's just like one of the things I want to do is I want to have one of my Guardians, I'm not gonna spoil who, have a relationship with a girl, and it be an actual relationship. You know, it's not like, you know, they're gonna, you know, they meet, they click, they have dinner, and then they sleep with each other in the next panel. That drives me crazy. Every single comic, and DC does this too, and Marvel does this too, is that there's very few couples that are actually couples. You know, that they go through like the courting process and that they believe in marriage and everything. And the only one I can honestly think of is Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. But even then, if you go to the origin of their relationship, it is nothing if not, you know, standard relationship fare. And that drives me crazy. And that's something I really want to do with my comic is show there is another way. You know, there is more to relationships than just, you know, what happens in the bedroom and everything. And, you know, there's a deeper core to that. And I know that if I was to take this to DC or Marvel, I would bet money that one of them editors would tell me, you know, you kind of have to do this. And I would say, not with her, not with my character that I have, because I carefully made this character to be not only believable, but someone who would never ever do that unless they were married. And that matters to me. And as an independent, I can tell this story without fear of, you know, being, you know, altered or changed or however you want to say it. So, but money. Do I want to make money off this comic? Yeah, but am I going to ruin my integrity as a writer and what my beliefs are to, you know, get the money? No. I don't want to do that because I feel that'd be betraying me. That's betraying my characters that I've written, and I would betray my fan base who hopefully knows what to expect from me. I don't want to do that.
Right. Okay. And that's very well said. And
thank you.
And no problem. And now speaking of fear, therein lies the whole thing now. With what you have done, what you have started already. Now, you know, and you hit upon the two things that have been the bane for most independents: continuity, first off, you know, and secondly, the overall fear of trying to please a fan base. You know, so how have you managed to actually make it all work out to where, you know, you can say, okay, I know I can go in this direction without actually literally falling flat on your face, you know? Uh-oh. Sorry about that, folks. Technical difficulties. So we're going to try to get Todd back in just a second. We lost him. We'll hold on. We'll try to get him back. Give me one moment.
And we're back.
Okay, now we're back. Yay.
That was me.
Okay,
Me.
That's okay. No problem.
All right. So you were asking me about continuity and
and overall fear. How have you managed to piece all that? How have you managed to keep all that together?
But just my comic in general, like how to keep going.
Right.
Well, story-wise, it's very easy. Like I have a bunch of arcs planned out. I literally tell people, I have ideas for like 100 issues of Guardians, and that's not a lot. Do I have every issue mapped out? No. But do I have the general hit points I know I have to get to? Yes.
Yes.
So, that part's not bad. The fear of like not continuing is something you have to overcome, and because I've been through there. I've gone through like basically 2 6-month periods where I've basically done very little Guardians, or was not making it, not promoting it, or whatever. And it all comes down to this statement that I like to say is you have to believe in your comic.
Okay.
And I even trying to start a thing with my comic saying believe in the Guardians, and because I believe in my comic, I believe in my Guardians, and I believe that this is something special, and this is something that people will enjoy.
Right.
So is my hope that I want my fans to believe with me, and because their belief is just as necessary as my belief. And so for any creators out there who say, I don't know if this will work. Well, if you don't believe in your comic, you're never going to get it to work. If you don't take that chance, if you don't take that risk, if you don't say, I got to do this or I'm never going to, you're never going to get anywhere. And you don't expect success automatically. Don't expect to get those thousands of fans or whatever the first time. But as long as you believe in yourself, believe in your comic, believe in your characters, and believe in what you're trying to do, you'll get to where at least you can hold it in your hand. And that's the best thing for me, is that when I can hold my comic in my hand,
yes,
all 5 issues currently, and say, this is mine. Mine.
Mine. You can't have it. You can't have it.
Yes, no.
You want the precious.
Yeah. It's like that's the best feeling in the world.
Oh, I believe me, I know that feeling. Especially something that that you've tried for the very first time, or you're trying something different with your book, and you don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. That you put it in the Photoshop and everything, it looks all great, and it looks great on the screen, but it's not you don't know exactly how great it's going to look until you actually get that physical copy in your hand. You open it up, and also you see, ooh, glossy.
And you don't know. I mean, you can write a great story in your own mind, but unless people read it, and tell you, hey, this is something special, it's just your opinion.
Right.
So
right.
I was dreading my first review for Guardians #0 because it was after we got Comixology, and IGN, the website, does Comixology reviews, and I found out that my comic was going to be reviewed, and I just don't remember how I found out now, but I went on there. I'm like, okay, so I go through. I slowly start scrolling through the books, and the first one was A-. I'm like, okay, that's not bad. Okay. And I scroll down below it, and I'm like, it's like B+. I'm like, oh my gosh, they rank these by letter. So the lower I go, the lower my grade, and then the next one is mine. And I'm like, okay, maybe I got a B-, and it's like A-, and I'm like, yes, yes. So but that was a pretty good feeling too.
Exactly. So now, we're getting ready to wrap this up. So So where can folks find your work aside from Comixology?
Okay, well, if I was to personally recommend, which I do, I would go to the Guardians website, which is guardians-comic.com. And not only can you get it for cheaper than Comixology, you can get them all there. We only have 0 through 3 on Comixology because of certain things that happen with them. But on our main website, you can buy all the comics, and Guardians #0 is free. You can literally click a button and view it in browser, and they're all for $1.50. So Guardians #1 through #5, which will be coming out on the 31st of December. The this year. You know, they'll all be there for you to look at, purchase, and hopefully enjoy.
Cool. Well, I hope to, you know, get a copy myself and then do a review, so that way our viewers / listeners can also join in. And so now one final question.
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in the next 2 to 5 years?
Dead. No,
pulling your hair out.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of hair, and I know it's kind of watered down right now, but I have like a fro going. It's crazy. But you know, where would I want to be in 2 to 5 years? Dead serious. If I could have a fan base just big enough to where I could continue Guardians at a good rate, you know, comic every month, and know that they are reading it, that they are enjoying it, and I'm getting to tell the stories that I love, I could not be happier. Now, yes, I have other writing dreams. I want to write, you know, TV shows, movies, and the like, and we talk about that on another podcast, you know. But I want to write Guardians. Guardians has been one of the dreams I have actually been able to have come true by me writing it, creating it, you know. I wasn't expecting to get past the first comic. Then I made the first arc. Now we're about to finish up the second arc. And now we're getting ready for the third, which I'm very excited for. We're introducing our first female villain. And there's just, for me, it's just, I have so many characters that I want to show the world, you know. You know, we've already done like a couple great villains in Tempest and Phase, who we'll meet once you read them. And then we're about to introduce our first female villain, Frequency. And then I got that girl I mentioned earlier about the relationships. You know, I really want to introduce her because I think she's just something special. And I wanted to tell these stories about. So if in 2 to 5 years I am in a position to where I can just keep writing my stories, know I have enough people to read it, enjoy it, I will be happy. And that's all I can ask for.
That's all any creator can really ask for, is to have the people sit back and really enjoy the work and everything else. Yes. So hopefully, you know, in the 6 months time, we can come back to you and see how things are going.
By all means. Okay. I'll be here with more issues in hand, hopefully.
I'm quite certain you will. I have no doubt.
I'm sure I will too.
I have no doubt. Okay, viewers, listeners, we have been talking with Todd Black of BlackMagicWolf Productions. Okay, and my thing to you is this: as always, what we need here, not for Todd, myself, Todd BlackMagicWolf Productions, Kiss Me Comics, open mind. We're out there. We're not the only ones. There are billions and millions out there. Try them. Yes. Look, just don't say ooh. Okay, look at the pretty pictures. Read. Yes. Download. You know, even if they offer you a sample, just don't have a closed mind. Okay, and for right now, that will conclude this little particular section of Lip Service. Okay, and as always, if you like what you're hearing, like and subscribe to us. If you don't like what you're hearing, let us know. Drop us an email. Drop a comment down below. We will respond. If you have questions, okay, for either me or for Todd, put them, you know, I was supposed to have a Q&A right there, but it didn't work out. But it happens. But at the very least, if you have questions, put them down in the comments. I will forward them on to Todd. He will respond. I will respond. Yes, we will respond back to you. Okay, and remember, with this video portion, you get extra goodies, okay? You know, there are just certain things with the podcast you are not going to be able to see. Okay, so for those of you who listen to the podcast, great. But when you see the video version, there's going to be first of all, you'll get to see the comic first off, and there will be other little sections besides me running my damn mouth that'll be in there. Okay, so tune in next time. And we'll see. You never know. I might have a rant or two left in me. I don't know. But for right now,
We'll find it.
We'll find it. Todd, Todd, thank you so much for being a part of our show, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully you'll get to hear you will hear a review from me on Guardians. Okay,
I look forward to it.
And you all stay tuned, and there'll be more of Lip Service.
This book is rated for readers 17 and older. The Lucky Seven killed her husband. Now Serena Park as Serenade goes for justice. Her weapon, a super deadly poison of her own design.
They must pay. The bastards must pay.
The bodies start falling now.
They have to pay. Those bastards.
Serenade number 11, available now at the www.kissmecomics.com website, or get the app at Google Play or on iTunes. This book is rated for readers 17 and older. The Lucky Seven killed her husband. Now Serena Park as Serenade goes for justice. Her weapon, a super deadly poison of her own design.
They must pay. The bastards must pay.
The bodies start falling now.
They have to pay. Those bastards.
Serenade number 11, available now at the www.kissmecomics.com website, or get the app at Google Play or on iTunes.
We have something a little different. We're going to go to Quora, where we have set up a few questions, and one of the questions that I posted for people to respond to was, and I really need to know, because I know sometimes people don't be buying the stuff that I got. Do people really read comics published by independents? Okay, and I got 12 answers. One of them is here, Robert Frost. He has over 15,000 comics in his collection, and his response is, there's a little quite obscure, unheralded independent comic book you might have heard of, The Walking Dead. The number one selling comic for 2013 was the issue of The Walking Dead, and he's gone on to spout a few numbers here. He says 7 of the top 10 comic book trade paperbacks were from independent publishers. All those 5 of those were from Walking Dead collections. Now, my thing is this, and I'm not, and I mean, his answer is brilliant, but here's the deal: trade paperbacks, okay, which is going towards, which go towards. You're talking about a compilation of more than one particular single issue, and this is what is forcing a lot of independents to do, instead of just trying to push for the one, and I understand the consumer, they want more bang for their dollar, and realistically they believe that actually getting a trade paperback is where they actually are saving money. And here is my deal. Realistically, to me, a trade paperback or a graphic novel is nothing more than the so-called value meal at a fast food restaurant. Like let's say, for example, you go to McDonald's and you get the value meal. If you price what you're getting for altogether versus each individual item, the only thing that you're getting free is the damn drink. Big fucking deal. Okay, and realistically, for a graphic novel, you're not getting, on the one hand, yeah, you are getting something a little bit more worthwhile, but then again, maybe you're not. But going on, you say for the year 2015, the market shares are as follows, and this is and he's produced numbers. And here's another thing that to me where he's making a lot of sense. He says everything that is a Marvel or DC is considered independent, so that's 30% of the market. It's less than half, but right now it's the best sector of the market. Marvel and DC are both in creative slumps with no duh. And now with Marvel getting ready to recent news implode the Marvel universe to start over, and everything. Okay, in other words, now all of a sudden you have to implode your universe and flip the script that everybody has gone on to know for over the last 60 years, and instead of just simply letting the writers and everybody chip in and write and create. Big yip. Big fucking deal. You know, you all should have been doing that in the first damn place. You know, but hold on one second. Notice the lighting was just a little bit off. So now I went on ahead and improved on things, and now there's a glare. So give me one more second. Alright, there we go. Okay, now, and so, you know, and he has some. Now I remember Bone. Now, and I remember Bone. Bone has been around, and Bone has been one of the best independents out there. Independent titles to have succeeded, as far as I know. I mean, Bone was out there when I was a youngster. And in a past interview, I also interviewed the creator of the scooter thingy. I can't remember his name, but I interviewed him because I remember him from a long time ago. And here's Richard Litz. Sure, some independent comics have large audiences. One title that has a loyal following is Lock and Key from IDW up in Canada. Of course, The Walking Dead. And here's Aliki Chapo, lifelong comic reader. I'm amazed anyone still reads anything by the big two, to be honest, though I'm considering giving Miss Marvel a try, and that is the new revamped one featuring a woman of Middle Eastern descent, so that way I don't offend or have a suicide bomber ready to shave my ass. Written by G. Willow Wilson, writes excellent series fiction. Still, for the most of what Marvel and DC put out, it feels you need a degree in the past history of their characters to understand anything. And the art and stories are so hackneyed, especially the art. Yeah, and I have to agree because I way long ago bought a Thor. And the story was interesting, but looking at the art, and I'm like, okay. And then I go to then for us, and I'm going on a small rant here. And then we submitted our stuff to Diamond, and they want to tell us that we're too rough. And I'm looking at some of the art that's in Marvel and DC, but you're steady spitting that out. Give me a effing break. Diamond, you're full of it. And also, and I also understand that with and that's probably another reason why, which leads to Marvel blowing up the Marvel universe, because they feel that maybe some kind of disconnect between current readers and past history. Well, you know what? There used to be a point in time when you used to also spit out the Marvel universe. Okay, how about just either putting it online to where people can read it for free, or spit it out, or spit it out in volumes and sell it for maybe $5 or $6, so that way people can get up to speed. You still make your damn money. And then here's one from Stephen McLeod. Absolutely. After all, if people didn't read independents, there would be no Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, and that's one of the most popular independent titles that has gone on to bigger and better things. Not only did it do it as a comic book, but of course several incarnations of the movie, which for some strange reason have not wowed moviegoers. You know, but for the diehard turtle fans, hey, here's in a half shell. In fact, they were so popular that they were even part of epic rip battles not too long ago. So, so if you want to say cult following, there you go. No Captain Canuck, etc. Many of the current DC characters come from Charlton Comics, a small company that competed with DC and Marvel decades ago. Another independent, Dark Horse, is a great place to read fresh stories outside the mainstream. That's true too. Dark Horse is the only major mainstream that will occasionally reach out reach out to other stuff and put under their banner. And for to you all, Dark Horse, I'll give you a huge thumbs up because nobody else is doing that, and you do actually give other people a chance to get in. Okay, another one is Ben Cohen, and he's a cartoonist. An objective, accurate, comprehensive assessment of research in North America probably does not exist, though some try to gather the data available and assess this. Personally, I wish there was. Are there truly independent cartoonists making and publishing comics? Is there owners for these comics? Is there a marketplace? Absolutely, he says. Some have even been answering this question. However, the variables in terms of market are wide as the variations of content and format, and that's the thing that makes comics so special, especially independents. There is no such standard. You can get gay, homosexual, whatever it is, you can find it there. Whatever you is, you can find that niche. The problem being is with most independents is they do not have the wherewithal or the resources to one crack diamond because of their stupid fucking magic number. Pardon my French, but yeah, that's the main problem. And two, there isn't a independent distributor anymore. Since Haven and the newer version of Cold Cut, which was who moved here and not too long ago and then shut down, and haven't heard from them since. And the problem is this: Diamond has such a lock on stores. And I understand the stores. I talk to them all the time. I mean, one of my close friends, Tim, who runs Alternate Reality here in Chicago. He is he does quite well, you know. But also at the same time, he's looking out for his bottom line, you know. And then if you want to talk about graham crackers, well, guess what they do? They shove you in the back. I know. I've had our stuff there, and we are shoved in the back. We're never the independents are never out front and center where they can be seen along with the better selling competitors. Why? Because and I understand the store feels that they won't move. Well, if you shove it in the back, how you expect it to move? That's my question. Or better yet, if you could have a special day for people to come down and do a book signing, how about on new comic book, whatever? How about, or even if you even want to do that, how about an independent hour, independent day? Maybe I'm asking, maybe I'm saying too much. I don't know. But he says. I enjoy all kinds of different comics. There is no one dominant format. Publisher, genre, cartoonist, etc. Pulling my strings. Also, I don't love everything. The opposite, in fact, I am picky. But the journey is well worth it. If I have bought from the big two, read for free online, paid to read on my phone. supported Kickstarters, and ordered a cartoon and self-publishing shop. Bought small published works at cons and LCS. Had comics show in the mail. He even found a mini on staircase this year. Read one or two, and of course I read mine and study my students. Some of those are my favorites. Search and you will find a wide world of possibilities in this medium, and that is the truth. But at least I can, and I will give Ben, if you ever want to try us, hey, shoot us an email. I'll gladly send you a free copy. You never know. But at least he's trying, and that's the thing, people. Try. Free does not hurt you. Okay, 99 cents. Hell, you spend more than 99 cents nowadays buying candy, which some of you don't need. I know I don't, but you know what? I love my Sweet Fix. However, you know, that does add up. Hell, buying a pack of gum costs you more than 99 cents. Most of your apps nowadays cost you on Google or iTunes cost you more than 99 cents. So what's the problem? Free does not hurt you to try. It doesn't. Let's see. Robert Sprouls. And I upvote this one. Oh yes, I don't read Marvel or DC, with the only exception being Watchmen and Batman, The Killing Joke. And with Watchmen, I would love to interview him, the creator behind it all, because his rant is, you know, DC is steady running stuff that he's been there, done that, and they rehashing it, and that's what and I do believe that's what got his stickers in a twist. They won't let it go. Like, this is the only great thing that he can do, and I understand that he's probably bigger and beyond that. Let's see. Trevor, this is a strange question that seems to imply that perhaps comics published by individuals are purchased because they wouldn't get published if none of them sold but never read. Although I question the independence of some other titles you mentioned, you can see from the other answers that people do indeed read independent comics. Nobody seems to have ever touched on the word of self-published comics yet, or the micro presses like Retrofit or the Sparkplug, Youth in Decline, Breakdown, Past Famicom, and the Steady Group putting out terrific independent comics that exist outside the Diamond retail system, the predominant distribution matrix for outlets. And therein lies a very interesting term too. Micro presses. You know, I guess in some cases that where we would fit in. You know, to where our publishing is not on. We're not publishing thousands, maybe only a couple of hundred. But then again, that begs the question: a whole plethora of labels, which I don't like. I don't like labels. You know, because for us, if we do a print run and we sell out of that print run, then we have done good. Obviously, some issues sell out better than others. You know, but that goes without saying. You know, case in point, Serenade, one of our Serenade Zero, our very first book. Constantly, every time we get that book, it sells out. Bounty Hunter Zero always sells out. We can't keep those particular issues in stock. We're constantly having to do a reprint. So to me, and I think this is where if I could become a independent distributor, my model would be totally different. Okay, I would say this. Okay, you give me X amount of copies to sell, be it physical or online. I sell out of those copies, you are a success. Okay, so let's say I'm just saying this for as a possible example. Let's say XYZ publisher gives me, and I'll say, okay, well, you know what? Give me 7 copies, and we'll give it 30 days. Okay. If I sell out those 7 copies, okay, that's your magic number to start off with. And if it's something popular, well, guess what I'm going to do? We're going to gradually raise the bar to where after, let's say, 90 days, and the thing that I would do is this: at the end of the 30 days, I would have a small expectation. Okay, so this particular issue sold me, let's say, after 2 weeks, we graduated up to probably 25 copies. Okay, so now at the end of those 30 days, I will probably say, all right, I will hold on to this copy. Hold on to this issue. You give me now, instead of just 7, you give me 25 of this copy. Next, I will get 25 of your following issue and see what happens. Because now I will build off of that, off the success of that previous issue, and say, well, now, hey, I got this issue, 25 copies. Let's see what happens in 30 days. And then we nurture, we grow the audience together, to where eventually, hopefully, the publisher at the end of a couple of months is all of a sudden now, hey, give me 50 copies, give me 100, and cap it. Cap it for a little while. Let's see, because it's ebb and flow. So some people might not like a particular issue, or something can happen. But at the very least, there will be a precedent. And then, if obviously, of course, if that sells out and I can do more, I will do more. If not, and this is the main thing for a store. Space is money. So they can't, and this is why you find at the store, at conventions, they bring boxes and boxes and this, that, and stuff of copies, especially because once they buy from Diamond, they're stuck with them. They can't return, and there lies the problem with Diamond. You buy it, you're stuck with it. And to me, those are inflated numbers, Diamond. If you really could see how much stuff is being stored unnecessarily, your model would be destroyed, because the truth will come out about how much overstock has to be returned, and that's money that comic book stores are losing out on. My model would be totally different. I wouldn't force, and then once they say, oh, this particular issue sold X amount of copies. That's because the store owners have no choice. Period. And the stuff that doesn't sell, they're stuck with. Only to have to try to get rid of during conventions or free comic book day or whatever. And they take the loss. You don't. Therein lies the thing. They don't. Diamond does not take the loss. If they did, I don't believe Diamond would be in business. Here's another one. Nicholas Longstreth. Undeniably, yes, there is definitely an audience for independent comics and graphic novels, not to mention variations like webcomics. Case in point, The Walking Dead started out as an independent comic strip, and look where it is now. That's true. I say it's got a fairly respectable audience
for itself at this point, even if the broad majority of said audience doesn't realize its origins. Some other independent comics with success stories of note, either due to adaptation or widespread knowledge of popularity of the works in no particular order. Here's 28 Days Later, Bone, Alan Moore's Watchmen, LXG, Leo Shirley, Extraordinary Gentleman. I love the movie of LXG. Loved it. From Hell, here's Frank Miller's Sin City, going through two movie adaptations. Persepolis, I remember that one. There's Tank Girl, the graphic novel adaptation of the Dark Tower series, done by the late Jim Henson. Been told almost all these answers are incorrectly conflating comics with direct mark. Okay, here's been told. Almost all these answers are incorrectly conflating comics with direct market serialized comic books. The last numbers I saw indicated around 50% of all comics sold in North America are sold via direct market, aka bookshops. Marvel and DC constitute only 60% of that portion. If you define the independents as non-Marvel / DC, then yes, of course people read independents. And see, and here lies where Ben has going on what I'm saying. You know, and see, there's the difference between a graphic novel and a serialized monthly. Okay, you know, but see, Diamond tends to group all that into one lump sum to make it look good. Not only for themselves to show, you know, but of course they're the first ones to sit up here and cry, oh, the market is falling. They're just like Chicken Little. The market is falling. The market is falling. Well, that's because you are producing bad, because you're producing the bad numbers. If you told the truth and stuck to it, it'd be a totally different story. And of course, right about now, then nobody be reading comics right about now. How about that? Here's Dimitri. Yes, we do. Tohib Olawabi. Do people need diversity in literature? Yes. I'm going to say yes because I read independent comics and always looking for something new. The problem with independent comics is that if you don't live near a trendy comic book zone, California, New York City, etc., you will not find them. I use comics on a daily basis. It's not the best place to find independent comics, but it's a great place to start. From that, I have a couple of friends that send me new comics when they find a given comic that I would like. Right now, I think it's like the vinyl record era. And Gilvis, I would say yes, but then again, I would say no. The thing of it all is, you gotta find, and Comixology to me is a closed shop. I wouldn't even bother with them just because of their stringent so-called submission rules. Okay. Because they're looking at their profit. And when you start trying to be exclusive or selective, then in my opinion, you're cutting your nose off in spite of your face. Okay, because today's market is becoming more and more specialized, and the more you try to narrow that focus, the more. On the one hand, yeah, you try to maximize profit, but you're also narrowing your scope. And to me, if I'm a business, I'll admit in a minute, I'm a businessman. Where I can get in, I will fit in. I don't care what color the money is, as long as I can get it, I got it. Period. And for me, the more I get, every one I get in my hand is one that the big five don't get. So for me, you know what? I don't care. Bring it. Because I'm trying to find that one particular person who would never say I would.
Yes, yes, you would. You just haven't looked hard enough. So I would look at Drive-Thru. I would look at some of the other online comic book places aside from Comixology. Also, like this is one reason why we got lip service, people. So that way, every person that I talk to, I'm gonna, I haven't been doing it, but I'm going to go back in and put their website into the notes. I mean, I'm still learning at this. I will put their website and everything, and I will tell you to open up a new tab. Still watch the show, but if you want to check them out further, here you go. Listen, and at the same time, while you're checking it out, you can listen to what they're saying, and make it a truly interactive experience. So from here, this is just one question that I have on Quora. And what I'm going to do is this. I will keep posting up questions on Quora for people to respond to. And for those folks, if you like and subscribe to us, and you let us know that you posted on Quora, maybe I'll get the chance to mention your opinion or comment on there. And for those who do, let us see that you've done this. We'll give you something special. Maybe a T-shirt or something like that. Maybe a lip service T-shirt or one of our Just Us things. And the next go around, I'll show you what the T-shirt looks like. How about that? But for right now, this is and actually, you know what? We need to find a name for this. So how about this? Let's make it fun. How about a little contest? For send us a name for this particular section, okay? And let's do this. And the Trinity, which is me, myself, my wife Barbara, who is the creator of Serenade, and Robert Boyd, who is the creator of Excessive Force. We're the Trinity behind Kiss Me Comics. And if we select your title for this particular section, we'll give you a complete set of either Serenade or Bounty Hunter. Complete. Up and current. So then that way, if you like it, fine. If not, well, you know what? You got a freebie anyway. Or if you want a T-shirt or a poster or whatever. But I'd rather give you our stuff. Give you the book. So let's try that and see what happens, okay? And we'll be right back and then from here we'll have some final thoughts, okay? We'll be right back.